everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. It's the first video of 2025, so I want to talk about Dead City Season 2 because this show is coming out this year. I want to talk about the release date actually and get into, when this show could come out. There was actually a teaser that came out, I guess, a couple of weeks ago from AMC basically promoting all of their shows, and when you watch the trailer for it, it actually kind of hints, I feel like, when this show is going to be coming out, because I mean they did say it was going to be spring 2025, but to figure out the exact month, I think we have an idea based off of how they set up that trailer. Yeah, so we'll talk about that and get into all of that. Tomorrow I will be posting my top 5, I believe it's top 5 episodes of 2024, so that's including The Ones Who Live Season 1 as well as Daryl Dixon Season 2. So I'm going to put my top 5 episodes there. The next day will be my top 5 worst episodes, and then yeah, we'll see how the response goes to that. If people do like those videos, then the day after that I'll do my top 10 best moments, and so there could be 2 moments in an episode or whatever, but it's going to be overall like best moments or best things that happened overall in those shows, and also 10 worst moments. And so that could mean like writing decisions, or like, maybe the episode was really great but then this thing happened and you're like, oh, why'd you have to do that overall, right? Like I would say, going back to the cliffhanger of season 6 episode 16, that episode was phenomenal, one of the best episodes really out there, but the decision to end the episode on the cliffhanger of who did Negan kill, really horrible decision, right? So that's an example of something that would be a really bad decision, a really bad moment, but the episode overall was amazing, right? So yeah, but anyways, before we go any further, make sure you be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. And so I saw this new promotion here for AMC, and it's actually promoting all of their shows, and so it's like a teaser trailer basically, or I guess it's a trailer showing all of their shows for 2025, and yeah, it has like Mayfair Witches, there's Dark Winds, obviously The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3, Dead City Season 2. There's a bunch of other shows on here actually that will be coming out this year, and I was looking at all of the shows to see like, what were the rumored release dates for all of the shows, and like the show that's promoted at the very end here, which is Anne Rice's Talamasca, I believe is how you're saying it, that show is supposed to be coming out in late 2025, because I think they announced the show at some point in the summer or whatever of last year. So that's likely going to be out, at some point in November, I'm assuming. Like it's probably going to be 6 episodes, maybe it's 8 or something like that. I've been noticing AMC's shows going more to 8 episodes, and so I'm wondering if that is going to change a lot for The Walking Dead now going forward, like getting more episodes. So yeah, I think that show's likely going to be at the end here. But when you're going through the trailer, like the first thing that they promote here is actually Mayfair Witches, which makes sense because that's the next show coming out here, right, on AMC. It's coming out on January 5th, which is this Sunday. So that makes a lot of sense, right? I believe the second season for this show is going to be 8 episodes, which means that it's going to air probably until like early March, the first week of March or something like that. It'll probably likely finish there. You go to the next show that's being promoted here, and it's The Walking Dead Dead City, right? And the rumored release date for a long time for this show is March. But because they haven't really promoted it or like released the release date or announced the release date, in the last month or two, I'm assuming it's not going to be March because it's January now, and like it makes sense that they would probably release it like at least 3 months beforehand, right? Because I'm thinking with Daryl Dixon Season 3, it came out in September. They announced that release date at the end of May, like early June. Originally, before that, they did say it was summer or whatever, but obviously that show got pushed back, right? So I think because they said spring 2025, and because this show is airing here, it makes sense that the months that this show is likely going to be coming out around is likely going to be like March, April, or May. It's going to be somewhere around there. And so when you go to the next show, I believe it's Dark Winds, which is going to be season 3 or season 4. It's a really great show. I watched the first 2 seasons, I believe, and I really liked it. So this show usually airs around like the spring, summer time, right? It's like May or June or July. It's somewhere around there. I think last year it might have aired more in the summer. So I'm assuming that makes a lot of sense. Just based off of how this trailer is, sort of set up here, I feel like it's being promoted in order of the release of all these shows, because after Dark Winds, it's The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3. So that show is likely going to be coming out in September. I don't see them pushing it off to, October, or even like releasing it in August. Like the show does really well, and I think the release time for this show is going to be every single September, and then it'll go into October at some point. That's where it will end. There's this other show here, which I don't really know how to pronounce. I don't really know what the show's going to be about. That's likely coming out at some point, October, November. And then we have this other show here, which is a part of that whole other world that they're trying to build up right now with like vampires and all of that, right? So that show, I believe, is coming out late 2025. So again, I still think this will probably be out around that same time, October, November, even December, right? That's kind of how I see a lot of this playing out here. So when I look at all of the shows here overall, Dark Winds, most likely to come out, I would say in like June, maybe July, somewhere around there. Dead City, if you remember, is going to be 8 episodes, right? And so that's to come out at some point, in March or April. And say it comes out at the very end of March. 8 episodes is 8 weeks. That takes you till the end of May, basically, right? And so then you could have Dark Wind season 3, if it's 8 episodes, airing in June at some point, and then ending, I guess, in September, or at some point just before September. And then The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 3 would air in September, right? I think that makes a lot of sense to me. That's likely going to be the rough release time here. Is Dark Winds will go from like June to August, and then Daryl Dixon season 3 is going to be September to October, because Mayfair Witches is airing January 5th. It's going to be 8 episodes. It's going to be over the first week of March. And so I think we kind of know the release date based off of this. I think it's going to be end of March or most likely April. I think April is most likely the month, to be honest. I don't know if it's going to be early April, because again, if it's late April and it's 8 episodes, it's going all the way until, the very end of June, basically. And so that would mean that, we have July off for Comic-Con, and then August would be whatever, September, Daryl Dixon's there. There'll be a lot to talk about. Like, The Walking Dead's going to feel very alive for a while, right? So that'll be kind of cool. It'll be definitely a big change, from last year where there was just quiet for so long. Like, we just really couldn't talk about anything, it was frustrating. So definitely a big difference this year for sure, especially with Dead City getting more episodes. I think that the story is going to be, much better because of that. We'll be able to actually live and breathe in the world and live with the characters a lot more. It's going to feel really incredible. And so I'm excited. And a part of this trailer actually is we did get some new footage here. There's actually new footage here from the show in season 2. And so it's kind of hard to see here because it's cut off, so you don't get to see like the entire thing here, but really cool. I mean, there's some shots that we already saw, obviously, but like we have a shot right here of Negan talking with somebody here, and it's kind of hard to see like what he's talking about or like what's going on, but he seems angry and upset. I would say, actually, knowing the character, I would say he actually seems a little bit more mad in this situation. So I don't know if he's talking to Maggie about something, because I don't know when Maggie and Negan are going to be together, for the first time this season. I feel like maybe it's episode 2 or 3. It's likely not going to be the first episode, right? So it's probably later on. We do have this one shot here of the Dama, who is saying revolutionary. At least I believe it's her saying that. And so she's speaking with, I'm assuming, Negan, or maybe it's the Croat, but they're talking about Negan, and he's walking up here, and this is really cool, actually. So we have this one shot of him. It's a close-up shot of him walking up to, I guess, where he's about to sit there, and we haven't seen the shot yet. It's a brand new shot. He has Lucille, we know that, and so he seems a little stressed out, a little concerned, I will say, probably just because he knows what he has to do when he goes there. He's probably a little scared of like, I have to go and do this again. Do I still have it? What's going to happen? Sort of thing. Like, how am I going to do this? Or maybe he just doesn't want to do it. Maybe he knows how it's going to go, but he just doesn't want to have to, deal with what's going to happen here. So he's just sort of dreading that. He's just like, oh, I really, really don't want to do this kind of thing. And then we get this other shot here of Negan, which we've seen before. We actually did, but we only got like a very like short part of it. This is kind of extended a little bit, where you see him like looking to the left a little bit here, and he's really happy. Like, he's loving this. So I imagine how the scene is going to play out. I feel like honestly, like, this is going to be the end of the very first episode. There's going to be all this stuff with Negan trying to, and I'll talk about that, I guess, probably in a video very soon, where I talk more about what episode 1 will be like for the character. Because I think that he's going to feel like, he doesn't want to do this and that whole episode. I think that's why he's going to be locked up. But eventually, once he gets Lucille, I think that's going to make a big difference. And I think we'll see the character changing to who he used to be. But I wonder if it's going to be a little bit more like when he has the bat, he just becomes a different person. There's something about the bat and like what it represented to him back in the day, because he named it after his wife. And so I just wonder if there's something about that just makes him become, who he used to be. And so in this situation here, he's a little concerned here going up, or maybe he knows what's about to happen. But as soon as he turns around, he has the bat here, and it's like he's a judge, right? He's like hitting the bat to, make everyone quiet and whatnot. And then, yeah, he's smiling here because everyone's likely going to listen to him. And I bet you it's going to be a very inspirational moment. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up doing a whole like eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing in this moment, because imagine like one person doesn't want to get in line, right? Like, that's what he used to say back in the day. it would be insane if he had to do that again. And then now everyone's listening. The Croat, the Dama, they're all looking at him like, yep, he's back. Like, if he can do that, if he can have that much power over people here, he's the best leader that we have to, I guess, do the mission of what they want, which is, I guess, basically rule all of New York City, I'm assuming, right? Like, I'm not entirely sure of all the specifics of that yet because they haven't really gotten into that, but we've learned of some details, regarding Dead City Season 2 and just in terms of all of that. Like, we're going to see this war built up here. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to learn here about the show. And yeah, I'm just excited to sort of get into this show here, but it's really only going to start once we start to see a lot more promotion for the show, a release date and all of that. As of right now, things have been pretty quiet for a while. I still think the way they're going about the show is not the best. Like, I think they need a lot more promotion for the show. And I think that the way you do that is just you have, I guess, more shows out, right? Like, I think you need another Walking Dead show out there, or more talk about how this world is going to sort of work, how everything's going to connect, this and that, because 2023 is pretty quiet. And I will say, I feel like Gimple understands that a little bit more, because that's why at Comic-Con last year, and I'm not talking about summer at Comic-Con, like New York Comic-Con in October, there was so much talk about all that, like, in terms of he's working on this other spin-off thing, or he has some ideas, this and that. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I think he's aware. But yeah, I'm really excited about The Walking Dead Dead City Season 2. I can't wait to see more promotion. This was actually a teaser released probably a couple of weeks ago now, and this was more to promote, obviously, 2025, and just to sort of show us, what was happening in 2025. So yeah, I'm really excited. But I'm gonna leave it here. Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.